They say every generation of Americans knows exactly where they were when some sort of disaster struck in America. For us millennials, we know where we were when we found out about 9/11. For our parents' generation, they remember where they were when they found out President Kennedy was assassinated. And for our grandparents, they remember where they were when they found out Pearl Harbor was attacked. Generation X, or people that grew up in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, remembers where they were on January 28, 1986, when the Space Shuttle Challenger blew up as it ascended into outer space. The reason why this event stands out amongst 9/11 and JFK's assassination is because approximately 17% of Americans were estimated to have watched the event occur live. The reason why so many Americans watched it live was because of the presence of Krista McCullough, a 37-year-old teacher from Concord, New Hampshire, who won a contest from 11,000 applicants to NASA to be the first teacher to go to outer space. At this point, you're probably wondering what any of this has to do with 20th century public argument. Well, that's where this guy comes in, Ronald Reagan. President Reagan, the great communicator, is considered one of the greatest speech givers in American history. And in a 2009 list comprised by professors from Texas A&M University and the University of Wisconsin-Madison, Reagan's speech given the night the Challenger exploded is considered the 8th best American public speech of all time and considered Reagan's best. To analyze Reagan's Challenger speech, I chose the Neo-Aristotelian method of criticism because the Neo-Aristotelian method of criticism was designed to analyze speeches. Just like your method of criticism, mine is a very similar 4-step process when it comes to writing the essay. Number 1, you select the artifact. Number 2, you analyze the artifact. Number 3, you formulate the research question. And number 4, you write the essay. But where all of our methods of criticism are different is the analysis process. So I'm going to break down the Neo-Aristotelian analysis process for you. The first step to analyzing a Neo-Aristotelian artifact is to reconstruct the context. For that, we need 3 things. Number 1, we need the background of the rhetoric. In this case, it's President Ronald Reagan. Number 2, we need the occasion for the rhetoric getting delivered. In this case, it's the explosion of the Challenger. And number 3, we need to know the audience of the rhetoric, and that's the American public. The second step to analyzing a Neo-Aristotelian artifact is to apply the 5 canons. The 5 canons are invention, organization, style, memory, and delivery. Invention is the location and the creation of the ideas for the rhetoric. This is where ethos, pathos, and logos would apply. Organization is the structure and the arrangement of the speech. Style is the language of the speech. Memory is the mastery of the subject matter. Did the person delivering the rhetoric memorize the speech? In Reagan's case, he's reading off a teleprompter, but that still adds to the effect that he's not reading off a sheet of paper. And the delivery of the speech is the management and the voice and gestures given by the rhetoric. And the third step to analyzing a Neo-Aristotelian artifact is to assess the impact of the speech. Did the speech accomplish its goal? Did it impact the audience in a profound way? These are some of the questions that we answer in the third step of the analysis process. Reagan's speech the night of the Challenger explosion wasn't one of his longer speeches, but it definitely was very impactful. It was chock full of quotes like this one. We will never forget them, nor the last time we saw them, this morning, as they prepared for their journey and waved goodbye and slipped the surly bonds of earth to touch the face of God. If you haven't seen the speech, I highly recommend watching it, for it is a very important part of American history.